We're now beginning our public comment period, and I'll just remind everyone that the folks who are providing comment today registered in advance. We'll be using Zoom security features to keep everyone to the 3-minute time limit. Speakers will be asked to unmute themselves when it's their turn and will be muted when their turn is up. We're going to be strict about the 3-minute time limit so we can hear from as many people as possible. The committee encourages the public to send any written material that is relevant to our charge to the National Academies staff. Please be sure to include your name and contact information on any written materials you provide. I have a list of speakers. I'm going to call on folks in order. Would ask you to, if you can, share your video, unmute, and we'll get started. And I see that our first speaker is already ready, waiting for me. So Pam Lads.
Hi, my name is Pam Lads, and I'm part of an organization called DUMP, Don't Undermine Memphrey Magog's Purity. We are in the far north of Vermont and have a large lake, a very large landfill, and a lot of concerns about leachate and other nasties that go with that. However, what I was going to say after listening to the incredible presentations today, in my 3 minutes, I'm going to make suggestions with what would be most helpful to all of us, particularly to us in remote areas. We need expanded testing. We have no access to testing. None of us have a clue what is in our own bloodstreams. We don't have a clue what is in the bloodstreams and the flesh of the fish that we eat out of the lake. We know we have brownhead bullhead fish with lesions. We cannot get the state to test them. They'd much rather not know. We know that our animals are at risk. We know that we have a significant increase in thyroid disease in cats. Cats are the canaries in our coal mine or in our lake. Help us connect with each other. There are hundreds of small groups. You, as an organization, have already put some of us in contact with many other groups. Individually, we can't do much. Collectively, you'd be amazed what we can do. We're pretty powerful, we're pretty vocal. Place your feet on the necks of the Department of Defense. They are getting away with poisoning us. They're poisoning Vermont, they're poisoning so many other places. They do it with impunity. They can ignore because they say that there are standards and no standards. There are no safe levels. This is not a component that should be in any of our blood works. Please make that clear that PFAS and the whole class of chemicals do not belong. Push the organizations, the industries that are filling our food with PFAS. Give us a way of testing cat food. Give us a way of connecting with the companies and pulling their plugs. That's where the change will happen. I see the clock ticking down, so I'm going to close there. But thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. I'd like to now turn to Tanya Eagle-Agard, who I don't see on the screen. So I will come back. We have Dr. Muhammad Shoaib. I don't see him. Oh, no. How about Jeff Archer? Okay, I do see, I think, Beth Marcassino. Hi, Beth. Can you unmute?
Yes. Are you ready?
Ready.
Hello, my name is Beth Marcassino. I'm the founder and president of North Carolina Stop Gen X in Our Water. So many of us live in a PFAS contaminated community or have lived in one without knowing. I am originally from Michigan. My grandparents immigrated to Detroit from a small island in the Mediterranean called Malta. Over the last 4 years, I have learned a lot about my own personal exposure. My childhood home was at 8 Mile and Ryan in Warren, Michigan. Just down the street from my home was a 3M facility. Growing up, we always knew the 3M name from tape and Post-its. Now in Michigan, at the Detroit 3M facility, they are cutting 1,500 jobs, and the state of Michigan has filed suit against 3M for PFAS contamination across the state. My son Samuel is buried in Michigan. Whenever we are back home for a visit, we have to pass by the 3M facility. It gives me chills to have to wonder that I once lived by one of these facilities, and now in North Carolina, I live by a PFAS facility again. My grandparents who live in Wixom, they also live by a PFAS contamination site. The ADEPT Plastic Finishing Incorporated is the source of PFAS pollution in the Huron River. I also have a lot of family that live in northern Michigan, in Gaylord and Grayling. Grayling is contaminated by PFAS because of their large military base, Camp Grayling. Gaylord and Grayling is not too far from Oscoda, which is also contaminated by PFAS military sites. In 2014, just before we left for North Carolina, we learned of the Flint water contamination. Flint is about 45 minutes north of Detroit. I volunteered and worked with the Catholic Charities to help residents in Flint get clean water. This is a medal from a campaign I put together called We Run for Flint, and raised a lot of money for Flint. Even when I moved down south, I would fly or drive back and forth to Flint to help out. After I lost my son, the Catholic Charities were still a great source. And when I found out about my contamination in North Carolina, the Flint Water Charities was the first call that I made. I'm lucky to have friends and family, not only in North Carolina, that understand about my PFAS contamination, but I also have so many friends in Michigan that also are fighting for clean water. We desperately need PFAS chemicals to be regulated as a class. We also need more health studies, and states like North Carolina and Michigan working together.
Thank you so much, Pat. Appreciate your comments. Pam, you as well. I would say for folks still on the call, it really was an outstanding day, another great public session. I learned new things as well, and I really appreciate the work that NAS staff put in finding the panelists, the moderators. The moderators did outstanding jobs, and I appreciate the attention and the questions that came from committee members themselves. I think at this point, Elizabeth, I'd like to go ahead and close the public comment period and the public meeting, and ask if committee members could stay on, if possible, since we're done a little bit early, for a quick debrief of today's sessions. And so I'd like to, with my sincere thanks, say goodbye to our other guests and look for the report. Thanks.